Live in Studio B, Jonah Riddle and Carolina Express. Man, I appreciate y'all doing that song because Keith Whitley, one of the birthdays, that we're talking about on the show today, remembering him. Birthday would have been tomorrow. And, man, I think about that, and I think about his work as a Clinch Mountain boy, him and Ricky Skaggs, and even the work he did, in bluegrass and country, just him. He was a big influence on a lot of guitar players and a lot of singers.
Yeah, he's always been one of my favorite people, as far as singing go. And like you said, him being a Clinch Mountain boy, I loved him as that career that he had, and then just his career, his personal career. I've always looked up to Keith Whitley too. So
yeah. Well, that's a pretty good idol to have, I would say, if you're going to call him an idol, maybe, or an influence, I guess, maybe. I shudder to think what he might have done, had he kept on going and not died so tragically like that. So it's sad to remember, but great to hear him when you get to hear his songs and things like that. Tell me a little about how you guys worked on this project, this album. House on the Corner is the name of the album, and I bet some of the folks listening probably have it. But tell me a little about how y'all did song choices. And I lost my one sheet, and I don't know which ones. Some of them I know are not your own, but did y'all write some of the songs on this disc?
I wrote House on the Corner. Yeah. And then most of it's traditional stuff and gospel as well, but we tried to pick out some that was traditional but not as played, so they would be a little bit more unrecognizable but still traditional stuff,
Stuff people might recognize, but they hadn't heard it on 3 other records in the last year or so.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in bluegrass, doesn't it?
yeah,
I might get over a span of 2 or 3 or 6 months get 3 new CDs, and 3 different groups or artists have done. There's one particular song, it's on all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And you hate to sit there and go, I really like their version better. But anyway, I thought you made some great choices on here. What was your inspiration for House on the Corner, that song?
I just kind of started thinking about the idea behind it one day, and I like James King a lot, and his songs kind of always told a story no matter what he sung or what he sung about, and that was kind of the feeling I was going for that song, where it just kind of tell a story just about an old house that, used to be lived in, and then it's now abandoned and stuff.
So there wasn't like a particular house in your community?
No.
Okay.
Just kind of thought about it and then went from there. But
you doing a lot of songwriting?
I've wrote 2 more after that. The next song we're going to do right here, I've wrote it. It's about Jimmy Martin. I've wrote 3 bluegrass songs, 1 gospel, and then an instrumental.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of times when I've had artists in here on Going Across the Mountain, the older guys, everybody has a Jimmy Martin story, and I always ask if I think they have one. I always ask them to tell one. Now, have you been alive long enough? I'm trying to remember how long it's been since Jimmy Martin's been gone. You never got to meet him, did you?
No, we've never met him, but we've met his son, Ray Martin. So I got to do that, but we never got to meet him though.
So I guess your story would be influence of him from afar.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right too. But I've had some interesting stories, and some of the most interesting ones were the ones that the artist wasn't willing to tell on the air because, for various reasons. But anyway, it's certainly the King of Bluegrass certainly fits him.